"Nia, you are useless. You don't belong here," said Jason. Nia was a young black woman who worked very hard every day. She was part of a big, powerful family business. Everyone in her family knew the company was important. Nia wanted to help it grow, but no one believed she could be strong enough. Jason was her fiancé. He came from a rich family, but Jason was proud and rude. He never saw how much Nia tried. He would always say mean things to her. Most of all, he liked to make her feel small in front of his mother, Mrs. Harper. Mrs. Harper was tricky and cold. She smiled a lot, but her eyes were sharp. She liked to watch people fight and fall. Nia felt like a bird trapped in a golden cage. Every time she tried to speak or leave, Jason pulled her back with words sharp like knives. "You're nothing without me," he said one day, his voice cold. "No one else will want you." At family events, Jason would whisper insults just loud enough for Nia to hear. "You're useless, a failure, a burden." His mother would smile, watching Nia's face fall. It felt like she enjoyed the pain Jason caused. But Nia never cried in front of them. She knew tears would only give Jason more power. Instead, she kept her head high and worked harder. She stayed late at the office, learning more about the business. She watched Jason's mistakes and wrote down everything. Jason had given Nia an engagement ring. It was big and shiny, something many people would admire. But the ring was not a gift of love. It was like a chain, holding Nia close but trapping her too. At night, when the house was quiet, Nia would take off her ring and look at it carefully. It felt heavy, but she told herself it was just a piece of metal. Her real strength was inside her heart and mind. One evening, Jason came to her room, angry because she stayed late at work again. "Why do you waste your time?" he sneered. "You'll never be good enough for this family." Nia stood firm. "I am good enough. I will prove it." Jason laughed cruelly. "You? Prove something? Don't make me laugh." But Nia's eyes burned with fire. She was done being weak. The ring on her finger might hold her for now, but soon, everything would change. The morning after Jason's cruel words, Nia woke up feeling tired but determined. She knew Jason thought she was weak because of the ring and his insults. But deep inside, she had been preparing her own plan, quietly and carefully. One night, Nia came to a big family dinner. The table was full of food, and everyone wore fancy clothes. Jason's family sat on one side, and Nia sat on the other. Jason looked at her and said, loud enough for all to hear, "Nia, you are useless. You don't belong here." Everyone gasped. The room went quiet like a frozen lake. Nia's heart beat fast, but she didn't cry. She looked at Jason's mother. Mrs. Harper's face stayed cold. Jason smiled like he had won. But Nia was not the same woman she was a year ago. She had been strong inside, even if no one saw it. She had been quietly learning about money, laws, and secrets Jason and his mother kept. She had been saving proof that Jason was careless with the family business money. Now, Nia was ready. The next day, Nia did something no one expected. She called her lawyer. "It's time," she said with steady voice. Within hours, news spread like wildfire. A legal notice was sent to Jason and his family. It said that Jason's assets, his money and shares in the family business, were frozen. No one could touch or spend a single penny. And the shares? They were now controlled by Nia. At first, nobody believed it. Jason's mother was furious. She screamed, "This is impossible. How could she do this without our permission?" Jason was pale and silent. His proud, arrogant face had disappeared. He looked like a lost boy. The family gathered in the big office, where the lawyer explained the news again. Ms. Nia had every right to act. She has proof of Mr. Jason's misuse of company funds, and the court agreed to freeze his accounts to protect the business. Everyone stared at Nia. The same woman they thought was useless stood strong and calm. Jason tried to speak, but his voice shook. "Nia, you don't understand. This will ruin everything." Nia looked him straight in the eye. "No, Jason, you ruined everything when you thought I was powerless." Mrs. Harper glared, her face twisting in anger and disbelief. But deep down, even she knew Nia had won this battle. The room was silent again, but this time, it was because everyone was stunned. Nia had turned the tables in one bold move. She took a deep breath and said quietly, "I am not useless. I am here to protect what matters. And I will not stop until I prove my worth." Jason's pride was shattered, but he wasn't ready to give up. After the meeting, he stormed out of the office, slamming doors behind him. He called his lawyer and family, trying to find a way to reverse what Nia had done. But every door seemed to close in his face. Why is she doing this? Jason shouted on the phone, his voice shaking with anger. She has no right. This is my family business. Meanwhile, Nia was not celebrating. She knew this was only the beginning. Jason and his mother would fight back harder. But she was ready. She had been gathering more proof, emails, bank statements, even witnesses who saw Jason waste money. That night, Jason showed up at Nia's apartment. His face was red with frustration. "Why are you doing this to me?" he demanded. "We were supposed to be partners. How can you ruin me like this?" Nia looked at him calmly. "Because you ruined me first, with your words, your lies, your insults. You thought I was weak, but I'm stronger than you ever imagined." Jason laughed bitterly. "You think you can win? You're just a woman with a pretty face and a ring I gave you." Nia touched the ring on her finger and said, "That ring doesn't define me anymore." She walked past him and closed the door. Days passed. The business slowly started to change. Employees who once doubted Nia began to listen. Some even thanked her for saving the company from Jason's careless mistakes. Mrs. Harper didn't give up either. She sent messengers and tried to meet with Nia privately, but Nia refused. She would not be bullied anymore. Nia's phone buzzed with messages from friends and colleagues offering support. For the first time in a long while, she felt hope. She knew the road ahead was hard. Jason and his family would try everything to bring her down. But Nia was ready to fight, not with words, but with truth, courage, and action. Jason's anger grew with every passing day. He couldn't believe Nia had taken control of his shares and frozen his money. He went to his mother, Mrs. Harper, hoping for help. "You need to make her back down," he pleaded. "This is ruining everything." Mrs. Harper looked at him coldly. "You should have never treated her like she was nothing. Now, she holds the power. You made your own bed." Jason clenched his fists but said nothing. Meanwhile, Nia worked harder than ever. She held meetings, made smart decisions, and showed everyone she knew how to run the company better than Jason ever did. Some employees whispered behind Jason's back, saying, "Nia is the real leader." One afternoon, Nia received a call from a trusted accountant. "Ms. Nia," he said, "I found proof that Jason was hiding company money in secret accounts. This can help you take full control." Nia's heart pounded. She now had the evidence she needed. At the next family meeting, Nia stood up and calmly showed the proof. The room fell silent again. Jason's face turned red with shame. Mrs. Harper's cold smile faded. "Enough," she said. "Jason, you must accept what's happening." Jason looked at Nia and finally said, "I was wrong about you. You are strong. I lost." Nia nodded. "It's not about winning or losing. It's about respect. Something you never gave me." Jason lowered his eyes, the arrogance gone. For the first time, Nia felt free. She knew the road ahead was still long, but she had taken back her life. The ring on her finger was no longer a chain. It was a symbol of her strength. After the meeting, the family started to see Nia in a new light. No longer just Jason's fiancé, she was the woman who saved the company. People whispered her name with respect instead of doubt. Jason stayed quiet, but his anger simmered under the surface. He stopped calling Nia names, but he was not yet ready to accept her power. Mrs. Harper watched everything closely. She didn't want to lose control, so she began to spread rumors behind Nia's back. She told the board members that Nia was inexperienced and dangerous for the company. Nia heard about the rumors. Instead of getting upset, she smiled. "Let them talk," she said to herself. "I have the truth and the work to back me up." To protect the company and her reputation, Nia started meeting with important business leaders. She showed them her vision and her proof. Slowly, more people began to trust her. Jason tried to meet with Nia in private one day. "We need to talk," he said. Nia looked at him and said, "What is there left to say?" Jason hesitated. "Maybe I was wrong. Maybe I should let you lead." Nia's heart felt heavy but steady. "It's not about me leading alone. It's about respect, trust, and honesty. If you want to be part of this family, you have to start fresh." Jason nodded slowly. "I'll try." Nia wasn't sure if Jason could really change, but she was ready to watch and decide. One thing was clear. Nia had taken back her power, not just in business, but in life. She was no longer the girl Jason called useless. She was a woman who stood tall, no matter what. Even though Jason said he wanted to try, Nia could feel the old anger still hiding in his eyes. She knew this would not be easy, but she was ready to face whatever came next. One afternoon, Nia got a message from an unknown number. It said, "Stop what you're doing, or you'll regret it." Nia's heart raced. She showed the message to her closest friend, Maya. "This is serious," Maya said, worried. "You need to be careful." Nia nodded. She wasn't scared, but she knew Jason's family wouldn't give up without a fight. That evening, during a big company event, Jason suddenly stood up and accused Nia of making bad decisions. His voice was loud, and the crowd gasped. Nia took a deep breath. She didn't shout back. Instead, she calmly pulled out the reports showing the company's recent growth since she took charge. "Look at the numbers," she said clearly. "The company is doing better than ever." The crowd murmured, impressed. Jason's face twisted in frustration. Mrs. Harper leaned in and whispered to Jason, "We need a new plan." Nia felt the weight of their eyes on her, but stood firm. She had learned that power came not from words or threats, but from truth and calm strength. After the event, Maya hugged Nia. "You're amazing. Don't ever let them break you." Nia smiled softly. "I won't." She looked at the ring on her finger and whispered, "This is my fight, and I will win." Time passed, and the battles grew fewer. Jason's anger slowly faded, replaced by respect, not just for Nia, but for himself, too. He began to change in small ways, learning to listen and to value others. Mrs. Harper, once so proud and cold, realized she had lost her hold on the family. She stopped trying to fight Nia and quietly stepped back, watching as Nia's leadership brought new success. Nia became more than just a part of the family business. She became its heart. Her hard work, courage, and quiet strength inspired everyone around her. One sunny afternoon, Nia stood in the company's new office, looking out the window at the city. The engagement ring on her finger sparkled in the light, but now it felt different. It was no longer a chain or a trap. It was a symbol of her journey, from feeling useless and small to becoming a powerful woman who shaped her own destiny. She smiled, knowing she had won far more than a business battle. She had won respect from Jason, from his family, and most importantly, from herself. Nia whispered softly, "I am not useless. I am enough. I always was." And with that, she stepped forward, ready to build a future where no one could ever make her feel less again. Lesson from this story: never let anyone define your worth. Your true strength lies in your actions, your preparation, and your courage to stand up when it matters most. Tell us your thoughts in the comment section. This is Black Echoes TV, telling stories that move you. If you enjoyed this one, please go ahead and like, share, and subscribe.